Hi everyone, my name is Qing. Today I'm going to present a short piece from William Tell Overture by Gioacchino Rossini. He was born in Pesaro, a port city in eastern Italy, in 1792. His father was a trumpet player and his mother was a singer. Rossini has learned vocal music, violin, harpsichord, and trumpet since childhood. At the age of 12, he participated in the first public performance in his life with his mother and started composing in the same year. Rossini was deeply influenced by Joseph Haydn and Mozart. At the age of 20, he launched his first opera in Venice. In the next 8 years, Rossini wrote 20 operas, especially The Barber of Seville, which made him famous and earned a good income. In 1824, Rossini moved to Paris, where he worked and lived for many years. William Tell was Rossini's last opera. The story is based on a folklore of Swiss peasant resisting tyranny. In the 13th century, the governor of the Holy Roman Empire who ruled Switzerland was domineering and required pedestrians to bow to the top hat standing on the bamboo pole in a troubled area. The overture of opera William Tell is divided into 4 movements and played continuously. It is a relative rare overture to opera with divided movements. First movement of William Tell Overture. The beginning of the music is played by 5 cellos, very slow and full of meditation. The theme of the beginning is the first cello solo. The melody evokes a feeling of awakening and sunrise, slowly unfolding and rising. The melody is only occasionally interrupted by a solo of 4 cellos. Although this melody contains a cello quintet, is chamber music, with the addition of other cellos and double basses. Other instruments repeat this pattern, enriching the sound level. The main phrases of the cello solo are very high-pitched, because they are not covered, making it more difficult to play. The only performance without cello is a quiet beating of the timpani far away. Another timpani began to beat. This time the sense of presence was stronger, and it sounds like thunder roaring. Finally, there's an introduction to the cello. The first cello plays a very high sustained note, ending the movement. Second movement. The second violin and viola began to play. The performance is as fast as a gust of wind, heralding the approaching storm. Wind instruments play a short 3-note passage between phrases, sounding like the first raindrops of a storm. Piccolo, flute, and oboe start, followed by clarinet and bassoon. The intensity of the volume gradually rises with the performance of each phrase, and eventually develops into a tense musical tone. The rumble of the timpani highlights this effect. With the explosive debut of French horns, trumpets, trombones, and especially bass drums, the storm finally poured down, and the high-pitched wind instruments mimic the harsh wind. The storm raged under the unrelenting percussion of the bass drum, and the angry playing of the French horn created more trouble. After that, the sound of raindrops of 3 notes appeared again. The momentum of the storm began to decline. The musical instruments withdrew from playing, and the remaining musical instruments were played softly, and the sound gradually decreases. After the storm, the flute came on stage and began to play solo against the rumbling music in the distance. In the end, only the flute is still playing, and its lovely phrases directly lead to the next movement of the overture. Third movement. The storm is over, and the English horn solo creates a happy and peaceful atmosphere. Then the flute repeats the theme of the English horn playing. Then the flute and the English horn began to play a phrase alternately with a series of loud plucking, which sounds like a bird talking. Then the two fused together, playing a short melody with each other, and the triangle also made a charming sonorous sound. In this passage, the playing of the flute flies around like a singing bird, while the soft music played by the English horn depicts a bird that flies relatively slowly. This idyllic scenery was broken by the sudden and sharp playing of the trumpet, and the atmosphere was exciting, inspiring, and full of vitality. The performance of this passage is very fast, and at this point, it has no scruples. Simply put, the playing speed is close to racing. As shocking as the trumpet playing at the beginning, the addition of the French horn adds color and level to the performance. The excitement from the herd almost overwhelmed everything, especially when the timpani joined the performance. After the timpani finished playing, there was a short pause. Then string instruments, two French horns, clarinet, bassoon, and timpani joined the team performance. The atmosphere was quite quiet at first, but when piccolo, flute, oboe, and other French horns were added to the performance, the sound gradually increased. The addition of cymbals and triangles creates a noisy feeling. The violin quickly played their phrases, and the rock-solid performance of the French horn began the ensemble of that theme song. Although the performance is fast and exciting, it must be placed in controllable range, so that when the final sounds erupts, it will be meaningful. The theme appeared again at the same speed, more violent and louder than before. Next, the theme returned to what we heard the first, fast but more quiet and restrained, and continued to wait for the next outbreak. Then the sharp sound led by piccolo broke the music of the whole orchestra. Fourth movement. As the music neared its end, a series of rapid changes occurred. First, the sound of the performance slowly weakened, but this was just to accumulate strange, and finally end with the percussion of the triangle and the roar of the cymbals. Then the melody reappeared, and steadily accumulate strange, and then replay the theme again, played by wind and string instruments. Suddenly, everything came to a complete standstill, and everyone got a chance to breathe. Then the roar led by the bass drum led to the noisy end of the whole piece. The exciting ending of the music undoubtedly shocked most listeners. About this short solo piece, we must know that air is free, so we must breathe enough air, because the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars, most of the flutists are not enough breath to play the 5 bars, so we must take enough breath to play it. So cannot take breath inside. Second one also. And then this trill key also, you can do slower to faster. And this trill notes is decrescendo, although it's to high note, but we need to decrescendo. So this one we need to be careful. After this, the 6 tones, 6 notes, how to practice these 6 notes. Every musicians know open metronome is the best way to practice. Open 3/8 and subdivision 3 quavers. So must practice like this to get the better tempo and rhythm from this part. To the end. So you can use metronome to practice. And also the small note here must be clear. Or clearer. And the trill note, D trill note, so also need to end in D, cannot end in E. Cannot. And hold longer. Like this. In this piece, very fast and always low note and then high notes and low notes again. Very difficult to play. maybe somebody feels really hard to reach the high notes. So I have a way to practice this high note. We can use harmonic to practice, like the difficult one, maybe F sharp. So we use the F sharp, high F sharp fingering from the lowest pitch. And then go down again. Then you can try to understand the way then you can reach the F sharp. Then can easy to reach the F sharp. Also, maybe you can try another key, G. Use high G's fingering. G is easy to play actually. Okay, how about next one? D sharp. Also very easy. I think the most difficult is F sharp, high F sharp. So use harmonic to practice.